On Christmas Eve, Alyakin's shoe shop was empty and quiet. The large oven gave the only warmth, while darkness pressed against the small high window. Vanka Zhukov was 9 years old, and he wanted to go home. Without his grandfather, Konstantin Makharich, he feared that he could not live in Moscow. For 3 months he had lived inside the shop, working for Alyakin, the shoemaker. That Christmas Eve, everyone else had gone to church. Left alone, Vanka stayed near the oven and took out some paper. He held his pen carefully, listening to the silent rooms before he began. Before we go on, here are a few useful words to listen for. Some you already know from an earlier episode: mislead and anxiously. His hand began to tremble as he wrote. After every small sound, Vanka looked anxiously toward the door, afraid that someone had returned from church. The quiet house could mislead a stranger. It seemed safe beside the warm oven, but Vanka knew that a much harder life was hidden there.
Dear grandfather, I wish you a happy Christmas. You are the only family left for me. Please come and take me home.
Then his troubles came quickly onto the page. As his troubles reached the page, Vanka forced himself to continue, although each memory seemed harder than the one before it.
Alyakin gets angry about everything. He gives me too little food. I get bread in the morning and again at night. At dinner, I get only a little hot food. Tea and soup are not for me. He hit me yesterday, although I did nothing wrong. My life grows worse each day.
Vanka stopped and listened anxiously for steps. At times, despair filled him and hope felt far away. Still, he put his deepest wish into the letter.
At night, I must move the baby's bed. When the baby cries, I cannot sleep. I sleep near the door, not in a real bed. They told me to clean a fish last week. A knife cut my hand and it still hurts.
Each sentence described another part of the same cruel routine. Vanka bent closer to the page, determined to explain why he needed help at once.
I cannot leave the yard. Someone catches me and hits me near the gate. That is the hardest part. Please come soon before despair takes all my hope. I cannot live like this.
He tried to sound strong, but he could not mislead himself. In the deep silence, his thin body began to tremble again over the unfinished letter. At last, Vanka finished his letter.
I send love to everyone at home. I will help you and pray for you. Your loving grandson, Ivan Zhukov.
He folded the page and placed it inside a paper cover.
To grandfather in the village.
After thinking, he added a second line.
To Konstantin Makharich.
The address was short, but Vanka did not understand the danger. Alyakin slept in another room. Afraid of returning steps, Vanka quietly opened the outside door. Outside, Moscow's streets were cold and nearly empty. Vanka ran through the darkness, holding the covered letter tightly as he searched for the nearest letterbox. When he found it, he pushed the letter through the small opening. His great hope now rested inside a little box, addressed only to his grandfather. An hour later, Vanka Zhukov stood outside a church under the winter sky. The roads around him were dark, silent, and empty in every direction. He looked anxiously along each road, but no one was coming to stop him. Soon he stopped trembling, raised his head, and lifted his face. The moon made the snow shine on roofs, steps, and trees. In the dark blue sky, Vanka saw more stars than he could count. For 1 warm hour, despair left his heart. His thoughts traveled to the old village kitchen, warm beside its oven. Grandmother talked there while grandfather smiled and listened, just as Vanka remembered. To Vanka, grandfather was the best person in the world. Konstantin Makarich watched a big country house at night, walking outside with dogs and a small tool. He enjoyed jokes and often made funny animal sounds. In Vanka's memory, his cheerful voice rang across the yard, turning hard work into play again. The familiar scene returned, as it had happened many times.
Vanka, my boy, get some water.
He laughed, delighted by his own joke.
You are a little dog.
The memory grew brighter. Vanka and grandfather walked through deep snow, looking for a Christmas tree. Konstantin Makarich cut one, and together they carried it home. The village air had felt cleaner than the city air, and the road seemed wider beneath the white snow. Life there had been poor, but it had been kinder. At last, Vanka returned to Alyakin's shoe shop. Alone in the dark room, he moved quietly between the work table, the oven, and the high window. He walked around the room and watched the stars, thinking about white roads and smoke above little homes. He pictured grandmother saving a fish especially for him. Then he imagined grandfather arriving and opening the green gate. Nobody would hit Vanka again. At last, the tired boy lay down on his small bed. He closed his eyes and entered a sweet dream. Konstantin Makarich read the letter beside the oven while grandmother listened, and the dogs lay near them. Vanka smiled in his dream as his family spoke about bringing him home. Their voices filled the warm kitchen, and for once he felt safe among them. When morning came, after dreams of the familiar oven and snow across the village, Alyakin found Vanka asleep with such a happy smile still on his face. But the letter never traveled to the village. At the post office, people read the 2 lines written on its envelope: to grandfather in the village, to Konstantin Makarich, end. No village name stood there. The short address would mislead everyone at the post office, because nobody knew where Konstantin Makarich lived. The letter stayed in a box of lost letters. Vanka slept on, happier than before, still holding his gentle smile. He did not know that his letter would never arrive, or that nobody could find grandfather. Here are some of the words you met in this story. Say each one to yourself.